Well, first off, Chad, thank you so much for joining me today. It's an absolute pleasure to get you on to talk about the country kind. But before we do that, it has been a hot minute since you released your last song and your last album. It has been since about 2020. So the country kind is very exciting for us over here and for everybody, of course. So before we talk about that, let's talk about this. It has been a hot minute since you have released new music. So, do you feel like you're moving in a new musical chapter? And if so, how are you preparing for it? And what can we expect?
Yeah, absolutely. I think each single, each record is a new musical chapter for me. Each holds a blueprint of, the time in my life. As we evolve as human beings, I think we also evolve as songwriters and as entertainers. So this chapter is no different. And how I'm preparing for it. Well, I'm really excited for one, because it's been such a stagnant few years just working behind the scenes, getting this record going. Um, so with enthusiasm, I'm preparing with a lot of enthusiasm and optimism and feeling the love from everybody as the new music starts to resonate out there. It truly is a good feeling to get the wheels rolling again and the momentum moving.
Wonderful. Well, we're so excited to hear more from you and see more from you. And the country kind. This song is so fun. It is so anthemic. It's a classic in the making. So tell us how this song came to be.
Yeah, I wrote this with Dave Thompson, who's also the producer on the song, and Tina Parole, and we actually wrote it over Zoom, just like how we're doing it right now. And my preference, obviously, is to be in the room with people, because I really feel like the energy of everybody in the room, whether they're actively participating or not, really plays an effect in the creative process. But we had to be creative over the last few years when we couldn't travel to see one another. So it was around that time. I actually wrote this, I think it was roughly about 2 years ago. So I've been sitting on it for a while. That's why it's extra exciting to finally get this out. But it was one of those writing sessions that just flowed. It just came together, and after a few hours we had this song. And I find when you're not wrestling a song, sometimes it works when you really fight for it, but I find the best songs just kind of fall out and everybody just equally contributes. And Tina and Dave are just talented musicians, artists, producers, writers. I mean, I was lucky to have them a part of this song. But yeah, we knew we were onto something special as soon as we finished writing it.
For sure. So, what does this song mean to you? When you were over Zoom, what were some of the ideas? What were some of the stories? And what were some of the lyrics that you were thinking of to make this song the great song that it is?
Yeah, I mean, the writing process is a bunch of throwing darts at the board and hope that one sticks, right? So it's tough to go back and remember all the ideas and lines that were thrown out at the time as you kind of weed through it all. And someone explained it as an analogy of like, it's a sculpture and you just got to chip away. It's underneath. It's there. You just have to kind of chip away. The song is already there in the universe. You just have to bring it in and be patient enough to sit long enough to chip away and make sure that the contours and the lyrics and the melodies are all done properly. So it's one of my favorite, most frustrating, rewarding processes in what I do. And you really just have to get out of your own way and allow for that creativity to come through, set your intention. Once you have an idea, I think that's the key in the beginning of the songwriting process, is to have that title, that idea, that concept as the anchor that you constantly go back to. And then you work it around that concept. And the country kind was that concept, just that simple grassroots, what can bring the entire country community and country genre together within one simple song, right? And like Willie Nelson said, it's just country music is three chords in the truth. And that's why that line was put in there in the second verse. So yeah, it feels good to play live. We finally got to do that this summer. It's just been a really great response from it.
It's a fantastic song. And also, what is so cool about this song is you have Carolyn Dawn Johnson on the
Yeah.
background vocals. Tell us how that came to be.
Well, Carolyn's been a friend of mine for many years. She was actually the very first tour that I ever did back in 2009, I think it would be 2009 or 2010. So she took me under her wing as this green young pup fresh out of hockey and taught me a lot on the tour. So I've had a lot of respect for Carolyn over the years. So when it came time to find a background vocalist for the record, she was the first one that came to mind. She's so talented. We wrote together many times, so I knew what she was capable of, and just a true pro, such a sweetheart. So happy to have her on that song. She really made it what it is.
It is gorgeous. She sounds gorgeous. Your vocals are also amazing, of course. Well, Chad, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to mention or talk about?
No, I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me over these years while I got this next chapter rolling, and thank you, Sarah, for having me on and supporting the new single.